everyone for tuning in to the second ever Girl Mafia Happy Hour. We are super excited to be here at GraphicsPro Expo in Irving, Texas. I'm here with Nikki Bowen and the other Nikki. We'll introduce her in a little while. I'm going to let Nikki give you a quick rundown, our little elevator pitch of what Girl Mafia is.
So for anyone who hasn't come across us yet and really looked into what our initiative is, our whole goal is to build a support system, community, if you will, for women in the screen printing industry. It's really lacking, and we just really wanted to build like a no BS community. Fun, education, learning, and no down talk.
Yeah, that's true. So far, our community is over 300 women in our women's only Facebook group. And I think last time I looked, we were around 1,400-ish followers on Instagram.
Sounds right.
It's all been very organic growing. I know, we're getting there.
Good.
I mean, what's more important is that the people that follow and engage actually care about it. Like, I don't care if we had 1 million followers if they didn't care. It's more important that it's quality for the people who are engaging for us. With that, I will do a quick intro. I'm Christina Haines. I work with Varsity Sports Shop in Fort Pierce, Florida.
I am Nikki Bowen. I am with Cotton Street Apparel, formerly Machine Gun Graphics.
So I think we should probably thank our sponsors first.
Ooh,
Oh, wait, hold on.
Hold on. GraphicsPro has to give money away real fast.
Yeah. We'll let them give out.
Yeah. I'm trying to get...
It's not to us.
Yeah. I'm trying to get this $500 in buyer bucks so that I can spend it on Girl Mafia stuff. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Cool. I did write it on the board over there.
Awesome. Hey, Katrina, congratulations.
Yeah, Katrina. Hell yeah.
Congratulations, Katrina.
Yeah. Hope you're following Girl Mafia.
Yeah.
So first, we definitely want to thank GraphicsPro for hosting us. Like, they built this like adorable little corner. We've already made the dirty dancing jokes about putting baby in the corner.
They kind of just let us do whatever we want to, so they don't really question us. They just say, "Okay, it's cool. Go for it."
Kind of intimidating.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would try to tell us what to do either.
Yeah, probably not.
They could try.
Probably not.
I think a quick shout out to Golden Boys for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
From Golden Press guys, they hooked us up with the first happy hour recording. Jared helped us in a pinch and also did all the editing. So thanks for that. And then we decided to be big girls and get our own equipment. And
We put our big girl pants on.
we did.
One leg at a
and
time.
he helped us figure out what the best stuff to get that was like affordable and good for beginners. So shout out to Jared and the Golden Press Bois for help with that. Who else we got to thank? Unite Together.
Unite Together.
List.
Yeah.
They're always supporting all the people who are underserved. And bless you. That was the cutest sneeze.
I know, right?
Like a church mouse.
How much cuter can you get?
Ugh, so
like,
cute.
come on, that headshot alone.
I know. We'll talk about that in a little while.
Yeah, I can't. I
I
can't. I'm going to
think-
hang it up in my office just so I can look at it every freaking day. Yeah, no.
No. Never.
I'm just going to look at it and just go,
It kisses
blow a little kiss.
Yeah. So I think that's about it. I mean, Embellishr is obviously. We'll learn about Embellishr later. But yeah. But Embellishr is like a really proud sponsor and supporter of Girl Mafia.
Yeah.
So I think that brings us to the introduction. Right?
Yeah,
I don't even know how to do the introduction. What do you think?
I don't know. Nikki, you know what? I think that, like, you should do your own introduction. I don't think either one of us could do you justice on just how badass you actually are. So, you
I
might
mean,
do your own.
I appreciate that.
I think I would ruin it.
I think maybe I can be badass, so that's pretty cool. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm Nikki Pape or Nicole Pape, however you know me. People know me differently in this industry. It's kind of funny. I don't really know how I got the Nikki nickname, but hi, I'm here. And yeah, I mean, realistically, I've been in this industry for going on 18 years. I know.
Like 24.
I wish I was 24. I'm like 26. I'm not 26. I wish I was. I'm like rounding closer to 40. But that being said, I know 40 is where shit gets
I
good.
hit 40 this year.
Yeah. Hello, look at you. Like, it's where shit gets good is what I hear.
turned
And I also hear that like other things are really good at 40. But anyways, looking forward to 40. We will have an OnlyFans coming out for PGM soon. Okay. So
I just sold the whole show right there.
I mean,
I
hey,
just reeled them all in.
I can print with a squeegee. You can see my hands print. I started in this industry about 18 years ago. I worked at a affiliate of Reebok, right outside of Mexico, actually, in Chula Vista. I was reclaiming screens every single day by hand. I was massaging the mesh with the
Feels like
paste.
OnlyFans content.
I mean, I can get real OnlyFans on the massaging. But
Screen. That's going to be the new term. Massaging the screen.
Well, isn't that what we all do? Don't you massage it? Are you going to abrasively touch it? So I would reclaim screens every day. And then one day I was just kind of like interested in what the hell these guys were doing on these weird contraption things behind me. And it was, what we know as a manual press now. But I didn't know what the hell that was, as I was employed in my early 20s, just reclaiming these screens. And I kind of basically was like, hey, I'm super interested in what you're doing. I see that you're like printing like 4 colors. Like, can you like show me what the hell this is? Like, I would like to do that. I was an art history major at UCLA and UCSD. That's another story. But I went to both schools, and honestly, like ink, color, pop art, Roy Lichtenstein, silkscreen, Warhol, all of that stuff was like in my brain all the time. And so they showed me how to print, and they put me on a milk crate. I stood on there and I printed my first 4 color for the University of, I think, Hawaii Pacific or something. And I fell in love, and yeah, I just kind of like spiraled from there. And I'm sitting here with Girl Mafia today with my new company, Embellishr, and I will introduce that now. So with Embellishr, I just started a few months ago. I did leave Rock US and start this company, and I am selling pre-owned and new equipment in the industry. I'm sorry, I don't know. Should I look at the camera or look at you?
You can look wherever you want.
So, yeah, I started Embellishr in basically December 2022. And I found like this niche or this need in the industry of people needing to upgrade and wanting to upgrade and get a new press for their shop and more efficiencies and things like that, but not figuring out how they can sell it. I mean, yeah, there's platforms out there to sell things, but how to really find that right buyer that's fulfilled.
Like Craigslist.
Yeah, there's no real Craigslist. I mean, there's Digismith, like,
Marketplace, yeah, whatever.
I mean, if you want to live in the 80s.
Service that you're doing.
I am doing like a white glove service. Thank you. Yeah. And
I feel like you also have the right resources for if someone is buying that used press, you can really make sure that it gets a once over to make sure there's no issues with it.
Oh, yeah.
If there are problems, yeah, you've got the contacts to get it fixed.
Totally.
The background knowledge of what to look for.
Yeah. I mean, from being on a manual press to owning 14 M&Rs to, I had 108 heads of Barrett embroidery to working at Rock. I really do feel like, I worked at Ryanette. I worked for a porn star, printing things for her. I mean, I've done some weird stuff in this industry. Sometimes you have to go weird. But I will say, I'm happy because what I want to do is really provide a service of fulfillment. I want to marry a press with a new buyer that is able to grow their business. And that is fulfilling to me, knowing I can help you at whatever stage you're in. And whatever rate you actually can afford. Sometimes new is amazing. New is great. But sometimes new isn't the way in or the way to get your revenue up so you can get to new. So I'm happy to provide that service. And that's really what kind of Embellishr is doing. Sorry about that long intro.
No, you're good. Do you think that you're...
That intro.
Yeah, you do. That's why I said I can't do your intro
Yeah.
you... Or, yeah. No.
Thank you.
Thinking about this though, like, is there anybody else out there right now who is doing what you're doing with used equipment?
100%. Yeah. I mean, Dave and Brian McLean are two really good friends of mine who have helped me a lot, been more like mentors to me.
Awesome.
I've known them for years, screen printing products. I've known them for years, and they've helped me sell Sportsman's, gauntlets, Challenger 3s out of my own shop. They've also helped me procure used equipment for my shop. So, you know, they've really gotten that, like the Blue Crew down pat, you know. There's really hasn't been anyone that's kind of come in to help with other manufacturers though, like Rock or like MHM, or I mean, dare I say even more like Anatol and other things. I think that they're...
Are you doing is it just screen printing equipment, or you mentioned Baradan? Are you doing other or just screen print equipment?
I have a lot of people asking me for Baradans and Tajimas, and I've owned both, and I'm happy to help you with your Baradan or Tajima.
Okay, so
I mean, other stuff
screen
too.
printing.
No,
Nice.
not just screen printing. I'm doing folding lines. I just sold a reclamation used last week. I know a lot of people need reclamation right now, especially as we're going into busy season. But I'm more just screen apparel, you know, embellishment. Like Embellishr is who I am. I was an embellisher, and I'm here for the embellishment industry.
Yeah,
so
I think that you used Embellishr for the name of your business, and I love it because I think there's so many terms. Like, it's something my shop really struggled with recently, was like, how do we really define ourselves? We're not just a screen printing shop anymore. And there's so many terms in this industry that like so many people don't use. And, you know, we kind of sat there and we're like, you know what? We're decorated apparel now. Like, we do so much more than just print a t-shirt. We're doing embroidery. We're sewing patches on hats. Like,
you be doing
we're
trophies.
doing hem tags.
Like,
yeah. So yeah, same things. I really like the name that you came up with.
Thank you. I have to credit my husband real quick on that one.
Thanks, hubby.
He did good. He registered that for me 3 years ago. Word up, Thomas, for doing that because he knew I would need something one day.
I like it.
So
it sounds. I have questions here.
Oh, yeah,
that like our
those.
OGs.
Sorry, before I just keep talking.
No. So you actually answered one of the first ones. Was like the heavy hitting question was, why did you want to leave Rock to start your own thing? But it sounds to me like it was a calling to fill a void in the industry, and you have the skill set and the contacts and the experience to fulfill that void. So I don't think I need to re-ask that question. I think that you did a great job.
Thank you.
You already answered it. I think that's to me is when it's like a legit thing, like when it's passion, like it's very clear. Like, you didn't leave Rock for any particular negative reason. Like, they're
definitely
great
not
dudes or ladies, and I think that it's clear to me that you're doing what you want to do.
Thank you.
That very naturally flew out of your mouth, and it's so
That's nice.
Yeah, it's so great.
That's good.
So one of our OGs, Deanna, she had a great question.
Okay.
She runs the business inside of her shop in the Zone Inc.
Loving the Zone.
I know, right? Yeah. How do you not love? How do you not love Deanna
Hi,
in
Deanna.
general? Hi, Deanna. We love
you.
you. Wish you were here.
Seriously.
But so she kind of wants to know, like, going from a print shop owner to equipment supplier, like, what are some of the challenges that you've faced going from print shop to working for Rock to now working for yourself?
That's print shop is so different than working for yourself as a distributor, but also not. Okay, my entire experience has been outlaid as I'm in the print shop every day. You know, I'm the girl that would shove her hand in a vat of ink. Okay. Feel the viscosity of the ink. Yeah. I like liquid gold in particular, but I do that, and I would know what mesh count I would want people to burn things on, even with the gradient, etc. Like, I'm a weirdo when it comes to screen printing. Okay.
You're a nerd.
But I'm a nerd. But that has actually kind of helped me transition into the equipment kind of side, because I have been a manual printer. I do know what it's like to burn that midnight oil till 4 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And you know what, to be honest with you, I don't know that anyone works harder than manual printers to service their customers, because you have to. You really don't have an option, because there's so many automatic printers all around you that could do it quicker, right? So I've done that. I've done the get your first auto. I've done the grow and scale and have 150 employees, 365, 7 days a week, 3 shifts a day. And I think that all of that kind of just gave me the foundation to be able to be here today, but also to be able to talk to anyone and where you're at. I don't want to say I'm an expert. I want to say I've been down the roads. I've been down.
You have expertise. It's
I mean,
okay.
I have.
At what point are you considered an expert?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you're an expert.
I mean, I don't know if I meet all the requirements. Usually they're like male.
Whatever.
But you know what? The cool thing about that, though, and I say this because my stint was in retail before moving into screen printing, and I started as a seasonal sales associate and worked all the positions all the way up.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about what you're doing right now is you've been on the bottom level. So if you talk to a shop or you talk to someone who's looking to upgrade, buy used equipment, buy new whatever, at the end of the day, when they tell you their problems, you know what they're going through.
I do.
And I think that speaks volumes when you're working with equipment vendors, is that they actually understand what you're dealing with on a daily basis. And I think that's hard for people inside of this industry that work at some of these companies that have never been the person on the bottom.
There's tons of people inside. I mean, coming from a big manufacturer of equipment, there's tons of people in this industry that are doing the part but haven't walked or talked the walk, or whatever the hell that, what's the walk the talk? Yeah. Talk the walk? Whatever. Something like that. I don't know. I had tequila.
Walk the quack.
Walk the quack?
Walk the walk.
Quack?
Yeah, walk the walk.
Quack?
Yeah, it's
Did
like
you
a
say
duck.
quack?
Quack?
Yeah.
Hell? Okay. She's from Florida. But so I would say that it's interesting to
I think
be
that
part of.
a part of it is relating to people. So like
Yeah.
you're able to relate to anyone in that shop because you have done all those things. That
Yeah,
one of the best
it's
jobs I
natural.
ever worked, my favorite job when I was younger, before I was like a grown up, was in a restaurant. And hops, like in order to be a manager, their training program was that you had to spend a week in each role
You should.
in order to manage. Like
You should.
they spent a week with us being a hostess. They were a bartender and a bar back. They were the dishwasher. Like they did prep. They did all those things. And what it did is it created empathy. So I think that when you walk into those shops, you're not like a used car salesman who's like trying to like talk them into some stuff. Like you have the empathy for someone who's burning that midnight oil manually printing, and and you've also done it, and mistakes have been made, no doubt. So
100%.
they get to learn from your mistakes also.
Yeah.
But also I do, what I know about you is you won't try to overpower someone either. Like you'll explain things to them, but you're not going to force them to do anything they're uncomfortable with. I think that you're an excellent guide, which is
Thank you.
Which is, I think, lacking sometimes in the resale section of business. Is a lot of people are like, no, you should definitely do this because they're trying to offload a press that they have or whatever. And you're someone that I would have no problem, suggesting anyone work with, because I know who you are at the core of yourself.
Thanks.
That
Yeah.
you have done all those roles, you have empathy for people, and you're going to use what you've learned to help guide them, but you're not going to force them to do anything.
Oh, hell no. I'm not a snake oil salesman. There's enough of those in this industry and enough dinosaurs. Like, I do not need to be that. And
That's a perfect way to put it.
I was about to say, we're tired of all the used car salesmen that walk into our shops and want to sell us something and
I'd
then
be tired
don't
of
want
that
to
too.
provide any tech support or knowledge
service.
beyond that.
Like-
Oh, yeah. I recently had a really bad experience. I'm not going to go into it right now with a piece of equipment. And it sucks because the piece of equipment is not that bad, but the support when we had a problem was absolute trash.
But that's the thing. I think in this industry, if you're not getting the support or the experience or customer service that you maybe anticipated, because you are putting a lot of money into things, okay? This is like real estate. You are buying a house, whether your house is small or whether it's a mega mansion. It doesn't matter. You have to go get money. You have to procure certain things in order to make this business functioning in a certain efficient way for profitability. And in that kind of stance, it's the biggest thing I would recommend people do, honestly, is find someone that you trust. Find someone that you can rely on and that isn't.
Fine, Nikki.
Well, hi.
You can find her at Embellishr.
Embellishr.com, and there's no E at the end.
It's right here.
It's right there. But quite frankly, I think that that's where people go wrong, is they just call a manufacturer right away and they're like, hey, I need a press. This is my problem. And sometimes the manufacturer isn't doing it right too. You know, like sometimes their whole goal is a sales goal that month. That's okay. That's business. That's capitalism. That's America. But I think it's cool to be able to provide a service that's more of like more mentorship, I think, than anything, you know? So
Someone you can trust.
yeah.
It's also too, like, as a vendor, if you can help that shop grow, like, don't just sell them a press, set it up and walk away.
No.
You know, like, if you can, like, give them some pointers and some tips to help make their day-to-day life better,
Yeah.
that speaks volumes. And to me, those are vendors I want to keep working with because they also care about the person and the shop and not just the dollar that they get when they sell the item.
Well, yeah, in the big picture. So if you support me now and you help me do better, guess what? I'm going to need to buy another press, or I'm going to need to buy more material.
You're going to grow.
More, exactly. And growth also, like, big picture. Like, are you seeing the forest for the trees? Like, big picture down the road. Or guess what? We all talk to, this is not that big of an industry.
No.
And you know what?
It's an incestual industry, if anything.
It's not that big of an industry, and we know all the people or not, or we're meeting them. And when someone happens to text me or message me on Instagram, they're like, hey, what do you think? And I'm like, hey, I don't know, but guess what? I know someone who does know. Always. I don't. Someone messaged me last week and was like, hey, do you know anything about air compressors? Mine is down. It's brand new. I've had it for less than 2 years. And I'm like, you know what? I don't. But here's this person who can help you. Like, reach out to them.
Networking.
Yeah, I feel like the conduit sometimes, but like that ultimately, like, if you are someone who can help grow a shop, like, you're like that person. What's the next thing that happens? So, like, let's say you help a manual printer get an auto.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next?
Well,
they're going to grow and need a bigger auto, or another auto,
a different type of automation. Maybe your dark room needs help. You know, like, there's bottlenecks that at that point, as a manual printer, when you go to automation, you will find the bottlenecks because there's going to be a certain point
shift.
you hit that ceiling, right? Yeah. So when you shift, it's about where to shift to and where do I invest my assets.
And I think a lot of the used car salesmen don't necessarily value the big picture for that.
Yeah.
And I
Agreed.
think that your experience and what you're doing it proves that you are like you're not going anywhere. Like, you don't serve 18 years.
I'm not going
in this
anywhere.
Friggin' tour of duty,
I just
screen
wanna make
printing
that
industry,
clear.
and then you're like, all right, bye. Like, that you're not going anywhere. Like, this is what you want to do. So
I like to think of myself, honestly, as more of like an exotic car dealership is how I've started to think about it the last like month. Because I've been trying to put to words what I'm creating because it's so organic and it's so it's happening very fast too.
Yeah.
And it's great. But like, I would like to position certain things for the right people, not necessarily like, this
I feel
is
like you're a
for
matchmaker.
sale.
I don't know if exotic. I think you're a
Thank you.
matchmaker.
I would love to be a matchmaker.
I think you're.
What's your sign? And I'll get you with that sign.
I think you're a yenta.
Oh my God, I'm a yenta?
You're
Am I old enough to be a yenta? I don't know.
I don't think it's about age. I think it's about experience and
I'll take
what you're
it.
good at. I think you're a yenta.
I'll take yenta.
All three in Aquarius.
We are all three Aquariuses. I mean, that's
This
called
makes sense.
entrepreneurship at your finest right there. Is these
Okay,
ladies.
so I think that a segue is Alexa wanted to know,
Alexa.
just so you know, our OG Alexa, she recently found out that you have a child, and she was
recently found out I
I know
have a child?
she did.
He's
She was,
almost
like,
6.
I know, but she like had no idea because you're so good at like being everywhere, and I also
Appreciate that.
personally know that you're like a good mom. So she wants to know about life balance because she doesn't have kiddos yet, and
Girl.
I think that there's plenty of. I mean, we all like.
We know.
What up, dads? You were great, but like,
are,
it's a
but-
different world for moms. So
Yeah, it is.
just she wanted to know about life balance. Like, how do you balance? Like, now you're starting a business.
I am. And so, okay, to answer this, like in a two-part, I left rock for work-life balance. Not in it's super respectful, amicable the way that I left.
It just wasn't
But
a good fit. I understand.
I was on the road constantly. I've probably been in your shop at a trade show. You've seen me. I've been somewhere in the last year. I've been all
Which is why maybe she didn't know you had a kid.
I mean, probably.
Like-
I think
Thank
my
God for
kid's school
FaceTime.
started questioning if he had a mom.
Thank God for FaceTime,
So,
right?
Thank God for FaceTime. I did receive 2 amazing drawings about Woody from Toy Story this morning from my son that were to mom. So I thought that was cute. But I will say,
Love that.
it's really hard. I don't know that there's a secret formula to being a mom and being an entrepreneur, or being a mom and being someone that works for another company. I think that no matter what, you're kind of down in a certain way, right? Because you have to provide 100% of the time, whether you work for an employer or you are working for yourself. 100% of the time, that is your reputation. That is something that drives you forward or gets you promotions or gets you to that next level with your business. And not that I've tried to keep my son like hidden by any means, but I think that it's hard to be a business woman and have that family. Whereas males
Without
or men...
guilt. Without guilt. That's what
And
it is.
as
without
we
guilt.
know, like many men in this industry are on the road just like the rest of us, and they've got 4 or 5 kids at home with the wife or whatever it is. And Nick Wood, got to say hi to him. But I would say that in the like female side, it is. I can't concentrate with you
know.
behind there. This is super hard.
Nick, you can come talk.
Yeah, you can come over here. It's fine. This is a part of Nicholas.
Nick.
So
Nick
we ran
Lucas.
into
We did.
Hey, what's happening?
How are
I had to
you?
come like see what was going
I'm
on
so
back here,
happy
by the
you're
way.
here.
What's up?
Hi.
Hey.
You guys are Nicholas, right?
Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Apparently we have apparently it's graphic sourcey sauce now, which
Graphic Sourcey sauce. I thought it was Draft Tavo Rock last night.
Yeah, Graph Tavo Rock.
yeah, we'll just start adding that on.
Listen, not here. They're not sponsors. Only Graphic Source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What up, Brent
Yeah. I think he's coming.
or Michael?
Where's he at? He should be here.
I know.
He could be jumping in right now.
Okay, so Nick, what do you know about Nikki? Wait. Is
Oh,
this
man.
Nikki and Nikki, and then I'm
Yeah.
Christina?
Yeah, you're just Christina.
I think I met Nikki. I think we're going on 13 years ago.
Damn,
something
yeah,
like
it's
that.
been a while.
Yeah, it has
we've
been
known each
a
other for a while.
long
Yeah.
time for sure.
Kids, and we're all only 25.
yeah, right. Yeah, no
I
kidding,
said
right?
24. She just aged me.
Yep. Keep on going back. in
Shots
years.
fired.
I did 26.
I remember the first when you came to work for Ryonet. We this is like Long Beach, whenever we went out to like this badass taco spot, and I was like, it was in the hood. It was like the best. Like,
That's what you remember about me.
no, it was like the first time I was like, she's
Met you.
awesome.
I was gonna say, aren't like hooded?
So what do you think
just
about what
establish
she's
this
doing
okay.
now with Embellishr?
I think Embellishr, first off, it's a space that needed to be filled. You couldn't have a better person to do it. So I think with your experience, with a niche that needed to have somebody in that space, I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's a win-win all the way around.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah.
Super appreciate that.
Yeah,
oh,
Gina,
my God.
Yeah.
I do love you.
Oh.
Okay. Like,
So what are we doing after this? We doing the happy hour?
That's what we're doing now.
we're
doing our
we're
happy hour
actually
right
in the
now.
middle. We're drinking and
We will see you later.
Get the double cup.
now.
Get the double
Yeah.
cup.
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Cheers, Nick.
Yeah, I heard about you
I
in
think
the bed for the last 24 hours. Okay.
Cheers.
Something like that.
Sounds like 13 years ago. Still is here.
Oh, yeah.
No, we had a. You know what? We had a cool slumber party yesterday.
13
That's
years,
what it was.
13
Yeah.
years of
Yeah.
happy hour.
Yeah.
Yep.
21 years.
Oh.
Oh my God! Don't age us.
I'll let
Awesome.
you guys go back
All
to
right.
it.
All right. See ya.
Long story short, Embellishr has helped me be able to basically take my son to gymnastics, take my son to karate, be home and be present with my husband who loves golfing, and I'm getting into golf with him. And I'm able to go to Bermuda for 10 days and a couple weeks with him and spend like quality time so I can come back recharged and actually hit the ground running. I would not be able to do that today if I wasn't in the position I'm in. So, yeah.
I think that there is a saying about like you can choose like being good at your job, being good at being a home life, or like being good at being a friend, and you can like only choose 2 of them or something. And I know it's really hard, and I think that there is no magic. Like you said, there's no secret to being a balance. I think that the balance fluctuates every day. I think some days you're killing it in business and you're sucking as a mom.
It really
But guess
does.
what? Some days you fucking kill it as a mom and you suck at business. And as long as like
Ebb and flow.
exactly, as long as like over a month, they're all or 2 weeks, they like balance, then that's the balance. The balance is not 24/7.
No.
The balance is like bigger picture of like, does your kid feel like you're gone all the time, or and if yes, like you made the change
I did.
that Nico needed for you to be
Yeah. I mean,
present. So not only did you do something that, like what Nick was saying, like your experience, your strong suits, what you have built in the industry, but also you did what you needed to do to fulfill your role as mom and wife. And that is fucking badass.
thank you. It was scary.
Did you know that you were going to get so much... Like, are you gonna cry? Don't cry.
No,
Are you
I'm not
like,
gonna cry.
so
I don't
much,
cry.
Like, positive. Like, did you?
No.
Uh-huh.
Did I? No. I am super appreciative of the support that I have gotten. I'm so.
You know you deserve it, right? I just want to make sure. Like, we're not
I don't
like
know.
we're not.
you know,
like,
I think that's something
it's hard to
I
accept
struggle
that
with.
I
Maybe
know.
it's like
Yeah.
a female thing. I don't know.
It
I
is
do.
hard to accept it, but like you
Struggle.
deserve everything that everyone's saying. Like you've done the work. You've done. It's the person that you are. Like you deserve what the support.
Okay, you're gonna make me cry, so we're not.
That's
gonna
my goal.
keep going.
I'm gonna be.
No,
What's the
oh my God, you're gonna be
what's
like
the
that
interview? What's the interview where like the person makes them cry
What
every
is
time?
that? I know.
It's like Barbara Walters
It's
or like
Barbara.
Katie
Is
Couric
it-
or something.
No,
Like
it's Barbara.
Barbara.
It's
well,
Barbara.
She's passed away, so there's someone
Wawa.
stepping into it. Ba 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 ba. I'm
Babs,
stepping into
that's
the.
sad.
That means that there's a vacancy in the making people cry.
And that Christina's filling it. But yeah, thank you. Honestly,
Thank you.
it feels good.
So, one of the big things about Girl Mafia is we try to really like talk about what it's like to be a female in this industry. I have been around this world since 2007. You have been in it for 18 years.
Yeah.
Being a female, being a female in this industry in that period of time, a lot of things have changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is something that you've struggled to be taken seriously with, and what did you learn from it? So what was your takeaway from a horrible experience?
Let's start with first. Have you struggled to be taken seriously?
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Cool.
I think that it's been challenging to be taken seriously since I left partnership in my former shop in 2020. And I did that strategically and needed to. And it turned out good for both my partner and I and that shop. That being said, you know, when you dissolve partnership of something that is so big, people don't necessarily understand it. They don't have to understand it.
Nope.
And I don't have to have an answer for
You
things. But that kind of led people into like, oh, well, we'll help you along. We'll help you figure things out. But it was more of like not compassionate. Yeah.
Please,
Like demeaning a little bit, you know, patronizing, I guess.
Cool.
And so I would say that is something that I've struggled with. I'm a 4'11" female. If anybody knows me in this industry, knows I have a mouth and that I am boisterous, and I know, woo, she's crazy. But like, I'm like a chihuahua that will like bite at your ankles, like, and I don't mean to,
Also snuggle.
but I do snuggle, and they're really nice snuggles. But you know, the manufacturer I just left, for instance, like I said, it was amicable terms. However, I think I've been struggling to be taken seriously even by them. And I think that that's really challenging It's challenging to overcome in a mental like confidence standpoint. It's challenging to overcome in a identity in this industry. And it's challenging to also be like, hey, whatever you feel or don't feel or support or don't support, it's okay.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm 37. I'm trying to figure out the it's okay part right now in my life, because I think prior I'd probably take things so personally. And maybe I do sometimes still, but I'm really trying to kind of just understand that if someone doesn't take me seriously, that's their fucking problem.
That's
that
a great
ain't
takeaway.
mine.
That's a great takeaway. And I feel that way too. I feel that a lot in business and life, relationships, friendships. I've started to get to that point too where I'm just like, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
That's not a me problem.
I don't need to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
There is an author, I don't want to talk about her, but she says that like someone else's opinion of you is none of your business.
Yeah. 100%.
So like, I mean, don't be a dick. You know
There's
what I
no
mean? Like,
need
don't
to
be
be
like
a
a dick and like whatever. I don't care if I'm a dick and you don't like it. But like, if you're being authentically you, I mean, I guess if authentically you is a dick, but like, if you're being authentically you, like, you can't. It's so hard though, because there's so many dudes in the industry, and I know that like I'm sure that some people are freaking tired, and I get tired of talking about being a girl in the industry. I'm sure you're like tired of hearing about being a girl in the industry, but the fact of the matter is that some people still say, we have heard it several times. I haven't experienced that, so it like whatever. And I'm like, well, just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Doesn't mean I haven't experienced it.
I've 100% experienced it. I know I probably couldn't tell you a female that hasn't, to be honest with you, in this industry.
A few
That say they haven't.
I know a few that have like outright come up to me and told me that what we're doing isn't really that big of a deal, and that they don't see it.
That's cool.
They've not experienced
That's
that.
cool. They can join whatever other club or whatever network.
Exactly.
Yep. And that's their opinion,
Exactly.
right? Like,
Exactly.
woo,
Exactly.
and I think that's okay, because they're not necessarily the person that you would want to be talking to anyone in your network anyways, because your network is about community. It's about compassion. It's about resources and tips and tricks and trades and all of that. And if you allow people to dictate it because that's not their opinion, I had some guy call me out on Facebook the other day, and I'll call you back out on the used marketplace, and you tagged me to talk mad shit on Lee Stewart. First of all, sir, your opinion of Lee Stewart is completely irrelevant to me. I don't freaking care.
It's relevant to Lee. Lee
Like,
doesn't care.
Literally, why would
Obviously.
I care?
Yeah.
But I found it so interesting that he decided to continuously go down on me and try and dog me I was so confused. I was like, this is comical. And I told him, this is really fucking comical, because I find it funny. Like, but I do find in this industry, whether you want to admit it or not, women have been different. It's different. Underestimated, undervalued, underappreciated, underrecognized. And I know great shops that will recognize everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, an alien. It doesn't freaking matter. But I also know shops that put more value into the men. Into their executive teams. I also know male owners that will only employ females because they think they work better.
Oh, that was one of the first shows that we did. Remember that guy came up and he was like, yeah, my whole staff is women because they work harder. And we're like, okay, cool, where are they? And he was like, well, they don't come to the shows.
Well, yeah,
and
why
I
would
was
you
like,
allow them to empower them in any
oh,
way?
you don't let them like leave the basement? Like, could you
No, they're sewing all day.
Could you let them freaking come to a show and like let them learn and communicate and build community and network also?
I mean, I think it's like redundant in the way of like, we have to tell people that women are amazing in this industry, right? Because it's like, without saying it, then it doesn't exist. Then women aren't really amazing. But when you say it, it takes this like segregation between men and women, right? And so I think that that's where you guys have been doing so well of bridging that gap. it's not necessarily a segregation of men and women. It's like, hey, we're a group of females that run this damn industry. Pay attention to us.
Exactly, but we're not like we're the only ones. Like we're not stepping on the men to boost ourselves up.
No,
like
those
we
men are
also
very
much,
intricately involved.
Absolutely, and a majority of them that we come into contact with are lovely and
great.
supportive and fantastic.
Yeah.
We are doing the work for the ones that aren't.
I know. And
That's what it comes
the
down
good
to.
work.
Like there's
That's
one of the first
print
things that
work.
we've been working on also is safety. Like that was something that a lot of people didn't even think about. Like safety of women in shops and walking to their cars. If you're burning the midnight oil and you walk to your car late at night, I was someone who was grabbed in a parking lot in college, and it's terrifying. I was, and it's terrifying. And I've been through some other stuff too, and it is something that doesn't even like that. To me, was the very first thing.
Or
Like
sexual harassment.
the very first thing one of the first things we did as OGs is we made a lightning bolt like keychain that can be used if necessary. It's like a firm
stabbing
wooden
tool.
if
Okay.
needed to, but it looks like a cool keychain that's engraved. And
I need one of those.
Got taken
Okay.
away. But
Mine got
did
taken
you
away
do,
by
Nikki?
airport security.
Portugal thought America.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Portugal.
Portugal ticket. I
Yeah,
can
so
see that.
when we went to Portugal in May last year,
Yeah.
and I was coming home, he sent my bag through the x-ray machine, and he says, ma'am, you know, you can't have this. And I was like, it's a keychain, it's a lightning bolt. He's like, this is a weapon.
Like, at least someone knows.
You're like, well, did you take my brass knuckles from my back pocket then, or?
I mean, you know, they didn't find that, so
like, I mean,
we're good.
obviously.
We're good. But yeah,
PGM.
no, it definitely got deemed as a weapon, so.
Yeah. No.
Like we're just so it's one about like respecting women in the industry and what we actually bring to the table. Two, it's about some things that dudes might not think about in the industry, like safety. Like, what if an unruly customer comes in? If you're like a dude, that's a different case. My shop is all women.
That's awesome.
And like it is awesome, but like if an unruly like a customer comes in and gets heated and upset, like
Girl gang.
I mean,
But yeah,
I'm
I get
right.
it.
Like we have things to take care of it, but like some like you never know. Like there's just a lot of things that like you don't think about when women are involved, or like how a customer speaks to us on the phone, or
I had an employee I had one employee. I had two facilities, one in Reno, Nevada, and one in San Leandro, California. In Reno, when I had opened that, I had an employee that came into my office and slapped his hand on my desk as hard as he could while I was sitting there and told me I was a fucking bitch. And I told him to get the fuck out of my office
Yeah,
and get
obviously.
the fuck out of my warehouse at that point. And he refused. And I did have, I had, men on the staff, and they walked into my office and they escorted that asshole out of my office. They 100% protected me,
Yeah.
took care of it.
Thank God.
And then also were just like, if he ever comes back,
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, there is the dichotomy of male and female in any industry, but there is a synergy and a yin and a yang, and I think that you guys are the yang to the yin that has existed for years.
we're trying.
That's
we're
all.
trying.
Yeah.
So let me go back to some questions that we have for you, because obviously we got off task.
Sorry.
Not that. Well, I think
mean,
it's productive. It's not necessarily off task. It's just
Okay.
I want to make sure that we ask our people's questions.
We
So
also had a few drinks.
yeah, well, we did get some.
We did.
Um,
We got some tequila.
we did, obviously. Mm-hmm. Instagram questions
Ooh, Instagram questions.
from our gals.
Okay.
What are the biggest challenges that you face in your career?
I guess as of today with Embellishr, challenges I face are, how do I market myself? How do I identify me as this solo person right now in the industry? How do I get ready to hire an operations assistant? Because I need that. So if you are one, please reach out to me.
Is that a job that can be done remote?
Absolutely. Remote is amazing. I'm a remote distributor. So I would expect anybody that works with me is remote, But I would say, your CRM, like that was something that I had to figure out right away, was like, okay, if I'm doing my own distribution, then I need to provide a CRM for these customers, and I need to have follow through. So those have been challenges that in the last few months of the infancy of this business, foundation wise, challenges that I'm trying to iron out. And also, how I'm perceived in this industry. How should I look? How should I act? Like, those are all things I think females probably think about a lot more than a male that would come onto a podcast and talk about their stuff, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I agree. Some of the girls wanted to know,
What?
do you ever have moments of self-doubt or insecurities? And
Totally.
okay, that's it.
Don't we all somewhat at some time? I would love to be 100% confident all the time.
Great.
I would love to be that person, but
Would you though?
I don't know.
I don't think we
those
don't wanna be that
self-doubts
person,
give
right?
they give you nuggets.
Clarity.
They do give you clarity. Yeah.
I think
So
that you need them. I think they're reality checks.
you do, and
reality checks.
your support system should also be able to be that check and balance for you. That's like, hey, you are overthinking this, or hey, you know what? I think you're right. I think maybe you should tone this down or do that way, and I think you should lean on those kind of people.
This is a question that I get asked a lot because a lot of people know that our shop went from a garage shop to the size shop that it is now.
Yeah.
And somebody actually asked this question, so I'm going to kind of like tailor it just a little bit. You're 18 years in.
Yeah.
You're starting something new. If you had to go back 18 years and start all over again, what is something that you would give to your younger self advice-wise that you think would maybe help you out or spring you forward a little bit faster?
That's a really good question. I think, truthfully, it would be telling myself, don't be scared. Go for it. I was scared for a while to go auto. I was scared of the payments. I was young.
Absolutely.
Of the idea of like a warehouse and a compressor and these things that were like, but I've been just doing this in my loft, and I've been able to be comfortable. So my biggest piece of advice, or what I would say, I guess, there is go auto sooner. Don't wait a few years to do it. If you are serious about the business of screen printing and making money, and you don't have a niche as a manual printer, as a boutique doing something very, very specific to make you that money, you will never see millions of dollars unless you go auto.
I like that advice.
And I would have loved to have done that sooner. So
I like that. That's great advice.
thanks.
What do you want to achieve next?
Oh God.
What's your next benchmark? Maybe
World
give us
peace.
maybe like this year's benchmark and like big picture for Embellishr. Like, what do you see? It's like for you personally this year, what are you trying to do? And then like big picture.
I guess my goal for this year, is to be $1 million company. I'm on my way. I think I can hit it, but that is a goal. It's a real goal. It would make me very, very fulfilled to know that I was able to meet that. If it doesn't happen, that's fine. That'll be my goal next year. I'll just keep tacking on, adding to the goals.
Absolutely.
But
That's how goals work, I think. Something to work towards. It doesn't mean you're a failure if you don't reach it. It's just
I think you learn, honestly.
you make your decisions that guide you.
I've had some failures,
specifically.
girl, and I have learned. Oh my God, what? Yeah, no, like seriously, you learn. In my opinion,
Only learning
you
opportunities.
learn the biggest triumphs and the biggest things come out of your deepest failures, and it's the only way to get to rock bottom and see things a certain way and to build yourself back up in a whole different way. And you can reinvent and adapt and change as many times as you want in life. It's life. It's not, there's no rules to this industry.
Literally my last
There
year.
are people that try and put rules on this industry that do not belong in this industry. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. If you want to do screen printing and car wrapping, go for it. Wrap that damn car and screen print that shirt for them. Like, you do not need to be this cohesive, exact, identical
you don't have to do
business.
what someone else did.
No.
You can make your own shit up.
Totally. And that's what I'm
We're just
doing.
like- it's
I
just
am
like
that literal example.
It's like
I
a
am a
rock
embellisher.
flying through space. It's fine. We're just like
We're just space
Yeah,
dust.
it's fine.
We just happen to be really pretty.
I know,
It's
we're so
great.
pretty.
I know.
We're
It's
so
like
pretty.
whatever.
I know. Do you have any advice or tips for women in the industry then? Piggybacking off that and what you've done and learned and all of that.
I would say my biggest advice to women is don't take no for an answer. If I took no for an answer, I wouldn't be successful.
Biggest advice for men is to take no for an answer.
Yeah. Men should, yes, no. But I think not taking no for an answer, not backing down. I think women have intuition. Men don't. Maybe they do, but they don't fucking talk about it. I'll tell you that. So if it's in your gut, go with your gut. And if someone's making you feel uncomfortable, undervalued, or unwanted, that's your gut telling you it's time to move on. It's time to figure something else out. And you can figure that out in this industry, but you need to not stay in one spot too long. Don't get comfortable. That's my advice.
Oh, I like that. Don't get comfortable. I think that a lot of people do get comfortable, and I think that people undervalue discomfort. They think that it's bad. But discomfort, being
Means growth.
uncomfortable, I mean, that's literally the foundation of education.
Totally. If you are uncomfortable,
It's on
it means you're
instructional
growing.
level.
It means something is happening and shifting and moving. And you need to recognize that and actually maybe take a step back and a deep breath and understand, like, okay, I'm growing. It's
agree.
okay.
The last thing, I have a note here. It's starred. It's very important.
God.
So this last one, it's not a question, but
Okay.
Alexa wanted to make sure that you knew that your new headshots are fire. It's all capital letters. There's multiple E's. They are fire.
Oh, I love Alexa.
They are.
Thank you.
They're amazing.
I think Zach, the can of corn over at Rock, deemed my new headshots as a sex novelist, which I should start writing, actually, a novel now. It will be on top of a press. Maybe while it's spinning, that might be kind of deadly. I'm not sure. But
I mean, without risk, what are you gonna?
know,
No risk, no return.
like, or just like a pizza going through your conveyor, like real slow, like ASMR.
Bubbling. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it.
Thanks,
Okay.
Alexa. Love you.
I know. We do love Alexa. We love all of our OG. We love everybody. It's fine.
Seriously.
Okay, so I think that, we could probably talk all day, but
Probably.
we should wrap this up. So I want to thank you for being a guest.
Thank you for having me.
She came all the way here just for this, but also for the hangs. Want to thank Graphics Pro, who gave us the corner. I put babies in the corner. It's okay because it's beautiful.
Okay.
And
She did pretty well for herself at the end of that movie. So, yeah.
I mean,
I'll do some pottery.
that's Ghost. That's a different movie.
Oh, shit.
It's fine. That's a different movie. That's ghosting.
It's Nikila.
Okay, so it was a pleasure and
Thank
an honor
you.
to have you.
Thanks for having me. I
Nikki's
like,
going to give you
super
some
appreciate
deets on our next recording.
it. Cool.
So our next happy hour is going to be filmed at ISS Atlantic City at the end of the month. You can find our first one, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So the link is on all of those locations. So find it, watch it, like it, comment, all the things.
Give it everything.
If you want to be mean,
Network.
then I'll delete your comment.
Yeah, you should. Fuck
And then I
us.
might message you separately and tell you that the mafia is coming after you
Ooh.
with some cement shoes.
It runs a lot deeper than you think.
Oh, we should. One last sign off is that Nikki is like honorary mafia because she is Italian.
Oh, I am. Parliamo italiano un po',
Oh.
però sì.
Oh.
Abitato in Firenze per 3
Now I
mesi.
feel like I should go home and crawl in
Now
bed.
I need an OnlyFans.
I'm not good enough
No,
anymore.
sorry.
Yeah.
My mom's from Italy, so,
Yeah.
I've
An OnlyFans.
been yelled at my entire life in Italian.
I know only bad words.
But thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks to everyone who came. Thank you, Nikki, for showing up.
Thanks for having me, honestly.
Thanks to everyone who has supported us over this last year. Print Girl Mafia has grown organically, and it will always grow organically. So
100%.
Thanks to everyone who supports us every single day. Awesome.
Yeah.